Hello, Daksh. So tell me, why don't you tell me something about yourself?
So I'm Daksh Tyagi. I was born and raised in the Mohali district of Punjab. I had PCM in my 12th standard. As a high school kid, I was a bit academically oriented, but along with that, I was also an active participant into various co-curricular activities, such as participating in various sports tournaments like gymnastics and swimming. Along with that, I have a deep interest in writing and as well as reading. I like to read mostly fiction. And as for the writing part, I have written some short stories and essays, particularly in English and Hindi, and those were actually published in the student edition of different newspapers such as TOI, Dainik Bhaskar, and Hindustan Times as well. I also did an internship with a startup called Kya Scene Hai for 3 months,
Okay.
and I'm really looking forward to today's interview.
What all you did in Kya Scene Hai? If you can elaborate that.
Yes, sir. So actually, it was an event management startup.
Mhm.
So they used to manage all those small events or the fest which used to happen around Chandigarh. So as an intern, my responsibility was to sell passes. So basically, it was a sales internship. Apart from that, we would also put up social media stories and advertise through various different platforms. And also, I would talk to the potential customers or the potential friends of mine who are actually those party animals who would really love to actually buy passes from me. So yeah, it was a pretty great experience for me.
All right, I'll give you one topic. You're supposed to speak on that particular topic for 60 odd seconds. You can collect your thoughts before this. The topic for you is India's role in Ukraine-Russia war.
Okay, so
Should I repeat it?
no, sir, it's fine. Can I have a minute?
Yeah.
So can I begin?
Yeah.
So today I'll be speaking on the topic India's role in the Russia-Ukraine war. So to begin with, the Russia-Ukraine war, as we all know, is a very hot spot and the hot topic currently going on. And India had some part to play in it. So a lot of Indian students were actually stuck in the Ukraine due to this war, many studying in the medical colleges. So India actually helped them get out of that country. And our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, along with the Foreign Minister, they all communicated with the Ukraine as well as Russia, and they helped the students get out of there. Apart from that, they have held a lot of conversations with the Ukrainian embassy as well as the Russian embassy, and also held talks with all of the representatives of those countries. So all in all, India did had a little role to play in that, but basically it's their own internal matter. So it was, as Russia is an old friend of India, so it was best to stay out of that matter because it would actually upset our old friend. And also since it was not very ethical to attack on Ukraine, so India could not say that either. So yeah, that's
All right,
all.
Daksh. Next question to you from my side is presidential elections are supposed to be held in the month of July. Who are the two
Yes, sir.
candidates? Give me a small brief about both of them.
Okay, so the first candidate which the NDA nominated was Miss Draupadi Mumuru. She is a tribal woman. She has already had the position of governor of Jharkhand. She belongs to a very small village, and she's one of the candidates who has. I recently got to know about her, and even the Shiv Sena is promising to support her. So that's a pretty good thing about it. And the many political analysts say that her victory is clear. And there were some other candidates also nominated by the different political parties, but most of them backed out. And I'm not very sure about who's the second candidate.
All right. So you should be reading the newspapers on a daily basis, first of all. This is my advice on this particular question. Moving ahead, If you can help me out with the subjects you have taken in standard 11th and 12th.
Sir, I had physics, chemistry, math, along with English and physical education.
What is Bernoulli's theorem?
Sir, Bernoulli's theorem states that the rate of flow of a liquid at different heights is, it's constant in the area. So it's the flow of the rate. We can say that if we have the pipes of different diameters from the different ends, but the rate of the flow would be the same through that. If
Are you
you are
sure on
getting
this
my
answer?
point. I'm not very sure about this, but it's somewhere near to this.
Then let's move to chemistry now. What do we exactly mean by words Stokes effect and kernel effect?
Sorry, sir.
Stokes effect and kernel effect.
Sir, I don't have idea about it.
ठीक है.
Actually, I had a drop year, so I wasn't in touch with all these subjects.
Okay. So mathematics, can you deal with mathematics?
Yes, sir.
So why don't you draw a graph for me right now? Do you have a pen and paper with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just a second.
A graph of x is equal to y square.
Okay, sir.
And also the straight line, an easy one.
Yes, sir. Of x is equal to y.
I would not be helping out with the equation part. X is equal to y square, but not of the and one of the straight line. All right.
Is it visible?
Yeah.
This is the
What is the other name
parabola.
of this particular graph?
Which one? The upper one?
Yeah.
It's a parabola.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
And the straight line, उसमें कोई intercept show नहीं किया बेटा तूने?
Sir, the straight line you said this is x is equal to y.
X is equal to y. All right. और अगर normal straight line equation का?
Normal, any straight line.
Yeah. Where x is not equal to y. मतलब it's condition ये नहीं है कि x equal to y है.
Okay, sir, I'll just draw it. Sir, is it visible?
Yeah, visible. थोड़ा सा इधर करना बस. All right. Moving ahead. Let me understand your GK as well. You're from which city? You told me Mohali. If I'm not wrong,
Yes, sir.
Mohali is in Punjab, right?
Yes, sir.
Recently, incumbent government in Punjab was taken over by someone else. Two well-known ministers in Punjab who were supposed to win the elections got defeat from huge margins. These two people are
Navjot Singh Sidhu.
yes,
He was one of the candidates, and the other one was, Captain Amrinder Singh. He resigned from his position, and then he was overtaken by someone. I can't recall his name, and he was also contesting for the election. But they were all defeated by the Aam Aadmi Party's candidate Bhagwant Mann.
Okay. Moving ahead, neighboring states of Punjab are, and help me with the rivers within Punjab, one river in each of the neighboring states.
Okay, sir. So the neighboring states are Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, then Union Territory of Chandigarh, Haryana, and Rajasthan.
Mm-hmm.
And apart from the rivers part, we have 5 rivers: Satluj, Beas, Ravi, Chenab, and Jhelum. And the river which flows in all the neighboring states is Jhelum, I suppose.
Are you sure on this? All the neighboring states?
No, it does not pass in Haryana. I know about the river, which is, a tributary to these, the Ghaggar River.
We'll be taking the puzzle part at the end of the session. Let me introduce the other panelists to you. So we do have amongst us Kushagra Sharma sir. He is actually right now in United States of America and taking your interview directly from there. He is FMS pass out and really a right person to help you out across these tough interviews. Over to you, Kushagra sir.
Thank you, Rahul, for the warm introduction. Glad to be here. Hi, Daksh. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Good, good. A bit tired. It's late into the night here. Um, so, Daksh, I was listening to your introduction. You mentioned that this is your drop year.
Yes, sir.
Did you sit for engineering exams last year? Did you take the JEE Advanced, mains, other engineering exams?
No, sir, I did not sit for any of the engineering exams because right after my 10th standard, I was a bit inclined towards mathematics and the quants heavy subjects, which we call. So I decided to go for the PCM stream. I had no intention for actually doing engineering. And then I read a bit of about management and it was something which I got interested about. And then, I came across IPM and it was something which really fascinated me. So yeah, I went ahead with the IPMAT preparation.
So, what about IPM fascinated you in anything specific that you'd like to talk about?
So see, in management education, I IPM is actually a game changer, I would call, because it has a really diverse curriculum, so diverse actually that we get to study mathematics along with economics and some of the humanities courses, which was pretty great for me because that was the reason why I opted for the non-medical stream. Apart from that, being into the one of the best business schools of India would actually provide me with a great exposure and experience, and the professors would be perhaps very great there. So I would get a lot of good exposure, and then it would help me out with my corporate career later on.
Right, but you would still have that option of doing, let's say, a BTech or a BCom honors and then going for an MBA, right? From an equally reputed B school later on. So you could have taken CAT. You can always aim for Ahmedabad, Bangalore. So what makes you so sure that you want to do this 5-year program and not do a bachelor's and then a master's?
Uh, so the main reason is that I would get to spend 5 years in an IIM. That is something worth it. People get to spend 2 years there, and all of their personality just changes. And studying there for 5 years would definitely help me. And of course, I'm sure the undergrad there is far, far better than there in any other colleges that we have.
How so?
So basically, it's about the curriculum, and even if we don't talk about curriculum, it's that the IIM brand name in itself is so competent that I would probably get some good internships. Also, I would get an exposure. I recently read about a student who actually got to do research with one of the professors and publish those research papers. And I don't think so. It would be possible in any other colleges. It might be possible, I might not be aware of that, but for me, this is my goal right now.
Mm-hmm. You can always go outside. There are a lot of research opportunities, good curriculum programs in the US, in Canada, Europe. Why stay in India?
Uh, my father's in army, so you might call it patriotism, but it was something like I would really love to stay in my own country and do something in my own country rather than going abroad and working for them.
Interesting. What is your opinion of the Agniveer scheme that the government has launched recently?
Yeah, so we had a lot of discussion lately about Agniveer scheme.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great initiative on, that's what the government is thinking right now, but actually army job is something for which you have to be mentally prepared and you have to give your 100% to it. You have to be motivated enough for a country. You don't want to consider it just as a job to earn money. It's more than that. So actually employing them for 4 years and then giving them a pension and saying tata bye bye is not something which should be encouraged right now.
Okay, so
And
let's
yes, sir. Should I
no
continue?
follow. Yeah.
And the other thing which I was adding to is that for the 4 years, you have a training period of 6 months. But in the army, the training is so rigorous that you can't follow it up in 6 months. I mean, it would be done very haphazardly.
Mhm.
So
So
yeah, that,
if the let's say the government hired you as an expert to revise this scheme so that it's more well received, what three
I would
changes
be
would you
honored.
what three changes would you make to this scheme?
So I would first of all increase the training period, be it at least a year of training, and then employing them. Then there's a thing about that 25% of the jobs would be secured in this. So I think that's good about it. But increasing the tenure of training is something which I've already listed. The other thing would be to not do it for the 4 years rather than to extend that period to say 10 years or 15 years maybe, and then retiring. And the third thing would be there should be some sort of criteria through which the students get selected. I mean, there should be some sort of an entrance, not an entrance test as in, but the physical test and what all is required there.
Mhm. Do you think, if not the armed forces, certain police forces should be privatized? What's your opinion?
Sir, honestly, police forces, no, I don't think so. Police forces should be privatized. I mean, they are working under the government and it just works fine. There's a coordination between the government bodies and the police bodies. It's probably for the best. But if privatized, I mean, then the privatization there would involve a lot of corruption, and the coordination among the government and the police would be would be in some way disrupted. So yeah, it shouldn't be privatized.
Okay, that's all from my side.
Thank you, Kushal. Sir, I think we can give the feedback now. So first of all, I'll take the feedback part. First of all, Daksh, very calm, composed, poised, stable, and very warm. So ये चीज बहुत अच्छी है. In fact, that's kind of a person everybody wishes to be. So that's something which panelists are definitely going to like about. Technical feedback की बात की जाए तो अभी तुम कहाँ बैठे हो? एक बार देखना. टेबल चेयर पे बैठे
Sir,
हो प्रॉपर्ली?
no, I'm sitting on my bed.
हाँ वो मुझे दिख रहा है. वो क्लियरली विजिबल है सामने वाले को कि आप एक किसी और प्लेस पे बैठे हो. तो आपको टेबल चेयर पे ही बैठना है. प्लेन बैकग्राउंड सही है. अगर इस टाइप का बैकग्राउंड है तो भी चलेगा. बट पीछे थोड़ा सा रिफ्लेक्शन आ रहा है. आप देखिए आपके फेस के जस्ट पीछे. एंड
Yes, sir, I can
वो
see the
सबकॉन्शियस
light
माइंड के लिए
isn't
एक
there.
वो है. ठीक है. दूसरा, एक दो जगह मैंने देखा योर जीके इज वेरी गुड. सब्जेक्ट स्पेसिफिक नॉलेज इज पुअर. नीड टू ब्राउज ऑल द बुक्स बिफोर यू मूव
Yes,
इनटू द.
sir.
ठीक है. एक एक सिंपल सी बात है. खुद दो तीन बार सेल्फ गोल किया तुमने. आई कांट रिकॉल हिज नेम. जब मैंने तुमसे पूछा था पंजाब के दो बंदे, तुमको नाम भी पता थे. अमृत दोनों, सिद्धू का भी नाम पता था एंड कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह का भी नाम पता था. बट तुमने सेल्फ गोल कर दिया एक और तीसरे बारे में बताने के बारे में जो मैंने पूछा ही नहीं था. ऐसा मत करो कभी.
Okay.
ठीक है. एक और इंपॉर्टेंट बात यहाँ पे करूंगा. इंट्रोडक्शन कुड हैव बीन बेटर बिकॉज यू हैव गॉट लॉट ऑफ अकोलेट्स. इसको थोड़ा और रिवाइज करो इंट्रोडक्शन को. मैंने जैसे क्लासेस में बताया जो जिस तरीके से, एक बार वो तरीके से अगर तुम लिखेगा इंट्रोडक्शन को, मतलब वो 10 फोल्ड हो जाएगा. मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि तुमने सारी चीजें ऐड नहीं करी जो मैंने क्लास में बताया था. टेल मी समथिंग अबाउट योरसेल्फ के बारे में. ओवर टू यू कुशाल सर.
Okay, so Daksh, you speak well. I think as Rahul sir mentioned, you speak very calmly, you speak confidently, you smile through the interview, which is always a plus. So your communication overall is a strength, and that is something you should definitely leverage. On extempore topics which are loaded with content, like the one that you were given, it's so you spoke well. It's always better to have a structure going in, you know.
Yes.
While we know, because due to the nature of extempore, you only get 10-15 seconds to prepare what you're going to talk about. Always have 2-3 very broad points that you're going to hit in your 1 minute speech, right?
Just to interrupt, I
So if you
think
talk,
adding to this point, मैंने note down किया था लेकिन बोला नहीं कुशाग्र सर. Actually, you did not utilize your thinking time properly. आपने लिखा नहीं था points को. आप सिर्फ सोच रहे थे.
Yes.
इसकी वजह से ये प्रॉब्लम हुई. अगर आपने points jot down कर ली होती, पेन एंड पेपर होता, तो शायद वो स्ट्रक्चरिंग आ जाती. Over to you now.
yeah. So that can always help if you can write them down. Sometimes you might not get the opportunity or the time to write them down. You might be given just 10 seconds. So what used to help me was I would just form 2-3 broad points, headers that I would talk about. For example, one is the dilemma that certain Indian citizens faced due to the crisis. Second is the non-partisan stand that India took because of its historical relations with Russia. And then third could be what are the implications of the war on global energy prices or on grain availability or whatever, right? Anything that you might be aware of. So three things, 2 or 3 things. If you have a broad idea, these are the 3 headers that I'll hit. Then it's more comfortable for you as a speaker to structure your extempore. Because you can speak well, I think it would be easier for you to just go with the flow if you know what themes you will cover.